And does anyone have any objection to portions of this appearing in a Dartmouth Hitchcock video for
National Nurses Week? It's a celebration of what our nurses do. So
Great.
they wanted to show that we do things from home, but they're international. So
Good.
Anyway, we were introduced to Joanne through Laura Carter, who is a new nurse practitioner at Dartmouth Hitchcock. Dartmouth Hitchcock does a little magazine that this most recent issue had some information on some work that Dr. Remelard's been doing in Haiti, and they did a little sidebar on the work that we're doing. And I think that's where Laura saw us, and she connected with us, and she introduced us to Joanne, who is from the University of Michigan and has been working in Haiti for quite some time. So if you, Joanne, want to share a little bit more about the work that you're doing, that would be great.
Sure. So I'm a retired professor from the University of Michigan School of Nursing, and when I retired, I got involved in the FSIL First Baccalaureate Nursing Program in Haiti that is now in its 11th year. And one of our retirees from the faculty was really the lead person in working with in Haiti and funding through the Presbyterian Church of the U.S. and let's see, USAID and others to start this baccalaureate program. And I was actually the associate dean for practice, and they kept trying to lure me into this work, and I was always too busy. And so I said, when I retire, I will do this. And so this has really been my commitment in retirement, and it's a great project. So the School of Nursing has 100 graduates now, and we understand that 97, and maybe that's a couple fewer now, but are still in Haiti. And that was the plan. The plan was that this would be Haitian run, Haitian led, faculty all Haitian. So that meant they really had to build their faculty from their first graduates. And there's some dynamite faculty there, and you've met some of them. Shirley is among one of the finest, but there's many. I mean, they're really incredible leaders, and they always want more education, more development. And so this seems like a perfect match. I am the president of the board of directors of the foundation that raises funds for the school in the U.S. It's a 501c3. And I also, in that role, I also serve on the governing board of the school's board. So there's two boards. And then, there's our organization, that's the fundraiser, the arm in the U.S. And then there's a governing board over the curriculum and the school itself. The school the degree is granted from the Episcopal University in Port-au-Prince, but the school is located in Léogâne, about 20 miles outside of Port-au-Prince. The school itself has a whole campus now of buildings built with USAID money, and they all survived the earthquake, which, that was the epicenter of the earthquake, and they were among the first responders. That became a tent city immediately after the earthquake, and so has quite a profound history and commitment in Haiti. This past year, we have charged by the governing board of the school, we've been doing an evaluation with the school and the faculty, 10 years into it, to see how things are going, what do they need, how do they learn the skills of evaluation so that they can just keep moving forward. And among their requests was exactly this sort of effort. They need faculty development, and wondered if we couldn't do some monthly or every other month seminars, 1 hour, 2 hours via the internet. So this is why this seems like such a perfect match. And certainly some of their needs may be different than what you've been doing, but among their requests, they're interested in learning how to write good exam questions, how to write a syllabus, but then also they really want to know anything new and current around clinical aspects to also keep their clinical skills moving forward. And I think so we would need to sort of sort out the different needs, or how we might just make this maybe one part of the work you're doing and partner together, and perhaps help raise funds together to make this, you know, ongoing. But I see this as very exciting, and I'm so impressed with the work that you have been doing, and the fact that your emails, Barbara, are all in French, I believe, right? Creole.
And English, French and
Right,
English.
right. But
Thanks
that's
to
great
Google
because
Translate and Berlitz.
yeah, well, and I don't, you know, I immersed myself in Spanish, unfortunately, and I do not know French. So, so I'm really a novice at all this, and appreciate the kinds of work you all are doing. I will stop talking for now.
I just want to make one comment, which is we should talk about afterward, because everybody's got to introduce themselves. But we do have recordings of several of our lectures, and those
Ah,
they're on our website, and we can. I mean, you can go in, but we can. What do I say? We. Natalie Gagnon Joseph, does our website and all our translation, not our major translation. She can very easily she charges a modest amount, and therefore she could certainly help you to use these lectures to possibly put together a link or some way that you can easily access them. And there are a good number, I think there are a good number of lectures, and we can see if we can get a hold, if we can get permission to access the lectures that we did when we were connected to
ah.
H1E.
Well,
But
that would be wonderful. And if you, again, if translation fees are an issue, I would be willing to go to our Sigma Theta Tau group here in Ann Arbor. They've been wanting to support the faculty development piece, and they don't have a lot of money, so it's not a, it's not a big effort. But right now there's about $500, I think, that they're looking to spend pretty quickly, and that what I had suggested was just to help support FSIL's internet costs. But this might, what you're talking about in terms of translation, might be more appealing than
most of
supporting
our
internet.
lectures are in French, but what that would be very helpful for is if we need Nathalie, she charges $40.
Mm-hmm.
Barb.
Oops, you just froze up.
Brilliant.
Oh, there she goes.
What?
$40.
We lost you for a minute.
Okay, $40 an hour.
Okay.
And she does absolutely wonderful. I don't want to say she's a technology genius, but I mean, among other things, my husband has used her. She has taught him how to, you saw Deb, and he makes videos, he sets up things on YouTube. So probably that money would be wonderful to have you work with Nathalie, for a couple of $100 to get
Yep.
those lectures in a position that you can then draw and put them into your curriculum where they seem appropriate.
Okay.
Anyway, let's get Sandy. I'm going to put it back to you to get us all introduced.
Oh, okay.
Like me with you.
Well, we just want to go around and introduce who we are. Is that what we're trying to do here? So my name is Sandy Soho, and I am the coordinator for global health nursing at Dartmouth-Hitchcock. And through that role, I've been connected with the NECH-CIEH group to help organize Dartmouth connections and having our nurses work with the folks in Haiti. Go ahead.
And I'm Deb Hastings, and I'm the Director of Continuing Nursing Education here at Dartmouth-Hitchcock. And up until very recently, the global health work done through medicine and nursing has in part come out of this office, which is how Sandy and I became connected. So this has been one portion of the work we've been doing, although this seems to be something that we're sort of drawn to, and this has really taken off, I think, from a nursing perspective, which is very exciting for us. And we love the model of sort of supporting the needs of the Haitian nurses and sort of taking their lead and helping in whatever way we can based on what they identify is what they need.
Claudia, you want to introduce yourself? Oh, are we losing her?
We have a pause.
She's muted.
Oh.
Jody, I know you're muted, but can you unmute yourself? Are you there still?
This
I'm on mute.
Oh.
Okay, now it's good for me now.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I have to unmute myself because my office is always busy, and there's a training starting this morning, so there's going to be a lot of people walking around. So my name is Claudia Thomas Richer. I'm a nurse, Asian nurse, but born in Haiti, and I was raised in Montreal for the last 30 years. So I'm working at GESQ Center in Port-au-Prince since 2004, and I've been affected to the training unit. So I'm presenting trainings or topics on counseling, adherence, team, multidisciplinary team, and all this stuff. And I'm part of the recruitment for nurses, and I'm part of the data surveillance for the cholera center, and many other things. So I'm very glad to be in part of this network, this NECH-CIEH, because this will help us, because every year they're asking something new for us for innovated in our training unit, and NECH-CIEH give me this opportunity. So I'm very happy. There's not too much work for me, and I'm glad because all going for one goal for the nurses: education, training, and improve quality of care. So that's it for me.
Great. Jody, I think, turned off her camera, and she may have something going on at home for a few minutes. So
Okay.
Jody is
Jody's not there anymore.
on right now. Jody is a full-time nurse lecturer at the Ingram School of Nursing at McGill University. And she is I wish she were here to talk a little bit more about her background. Her husband, who is a clinical instructor in nursing, gave our first 3 or 4 lectures, and they are wonderful. They were basic lectures on vital signs that I hope we can get them from HME. I mean, actually, they're on the HME website, so I think that means that anyone really can access them. But Jody was with me and Anita Gagnon, the mother of Natalie Gagnon Joseph, who on our first visit 2 years ago, March, to Haiti, when we visited many of the facilities. Jody, êtes-vous là? Oui. Jody, Jody, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sorry, I will just apologize first. For the last month and a half, I have been struggling with very bad internet access. I am in World War III with our service provider. World War IV, maybe. So it's possible that my internet will cut several times during this conversation. I tried to have a conference meeting 2 days ago, and it cut 6 times in an hour. So
Gosh.
it's not just in Haiti that we're dealing with cuts in service, eh, Claudia? So I didn't hear what everyone else said, so I'm not sure how much detail I should go into. Essentially, my name's Jody Tuck. I'm a full-time faculty lecturer at the McGill School of Nursing, the Ingram School of Nursing at McGill. I'm CAS faculty, so I'm not a tenure track. I'm not a PhD. I'm a master's prepared nurse. My background's in emergency and in obstetrics. I came into nursing because I was interested in global health. So this is my passion. It's what I love to do. I was one of the founders of global health concentration in our master's program at the School of Nursing, which has been running since around 2006. And it's a program where students take a curriculum prior to going to a placement site. We do have a partner in Haiti, but we have a partner in Colombia and Medellin, up north in Canada, and Rapid Lake in one of our Aboriginal communities. We also have a placement in Tanzania with Highlands Hope, and we have had partnerships with another school of nursing in Malawi, and with the International Organization for Migration, where we've worked in Thailand, Nepal, Uganda, and Kenya. So this program, students spend an entire term overseas. They do clinical work as well as a research project that comes from our partners. So one of the big pushes with our partnership in Haiti, we're working with Amis La Santé. They're very much interested, and I think Claudia would second this too, is the idea of nursing research and forwarding nursing research. So the project that we're working on currently is really trying to accompany nurse leaders to develop and respond to questions that they have in their own practice. It's sort of been looking at the role of advanced nurses, like the clinical nurse specialist role, or I guess it's called educators, sorry, would be the better word to use. Some of our previous practices have been looking at sort of ongoing education and the development of continued nursing education rather than sort of foundational nursing education. I think that's all I have to say.
Thank
Was
you.
that too much?
No, that was good. That was great.
It's the wonderful thing, though. Jody wasn't able to be at our last November conference, and we've had two workshops. I have to keep word, because the word lecture in French is conférence, so we have ateliers, workshops. And at our last one in November, and our next one, by the way, is this coming November 13th through 15th. That's a Friday night, all day Saturday, and 3/4 of Sunday. At the last workshop, certainly guided by a lot of Jody's interests, we invited Deb to come, and she did a presentation on continuing education, which is, of course, her specialty. And she does not speak French, but we had Natalie, who did the translation, and Natalie has really developed a very good, not only, I mean, for that, she did sequential translation, but she also serves at our workshop to be translating almost simultaneously, both from French to English or from English to French. So Deb gave a wonderful...
English or Creole to French. She also speaks Creole too, right?
Yes, she does speak Creole. And every so often, none of us know what's going on, because except Natalie and the participants. Yes. We also had a session on research, and I am so sorry Jody was not there, because it was an extremely exciting session. We invited Anita, who had traveled with Jody and me on our first adventurous trip around. Sorry, I just was telling someone about the truck blockade the other day. When I wanted to get out of the car, because I didn't like the fact that we were either going to be smashed by a truck or fall over a ravine. And Jody said, "You can't get out of the car. Half the truck's in the car." Was,
oh my goodness.
Anyway, we're here to tell the tale. But we had a research session. And Anita came, and another wonderful, he's actually from the University of Montreal now, though he's, I think, McGill trained, Pierre Min, who is a medical anthropologist. Anita presented on quantitative research. Pierre presented on qualitative research. We divided the groups into two, literally 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ones go to quantitative and meet with Anita. Twos go to qualitative and meet with Pierre. We couldn't get them to stop to have lunch. I mean, the lunch was brought in, and we finally had to intervene when we let them go for so long. It was so exciting to see their interest in research. So that, and Jody, I really thank you for really pushing us to do this. And, I think the participants felt really expanded by having this continuing education and the research. We are trying to present at these workshops things that are matter. I didn't introduce myself really, Joanne. Barbara Leigh Toffler, and I am not a nurse. And that's really important. Nor do I pretend to be one on Fuze. I have a PhD in an area called administrative sciences, which is really a cross between social psychology and sociology. I was a business school professor at Boston University, Harvard Business School, and I adjuncted a lot of places and then did a lot of consulting. But my dissertation was in the healthcare field, and I really always wanted to get back to it. I did my dissertation, my pre-dissertation on nurse practitioners, PAs, and nurse midwives, and my dissertation was on PAs, which were a brand new. They all of those three were called the new health professionals. It was in the mid 70s,
Yep.
and it just never stopped fascinating me. When I retired and was looking for something to do, someone I know who was taking a salsa class with Galit Sekajiu, who had started this Haiti Medical Education Foundation, introduced us. And that's really how we started. I said, I want to work 10 hours a week or so. I want to just do something. And she said, well, we really deal with doing continuing education by video for doctors, but we want to do something for nurses. So already Claudia and Jody and Sandy were in communication. I mean, it was a sort of ready-made group, and what they needed was somebody who had time to organize.
Yep.
And I had time. I wasn't looking to earn a living. My husband was wonderful at managing our retirement preparation. As I've said many times, our accountant said back when we were working, you guys are going to have a great retirement, but I don't know how you're living right now. But I am very grateful to him because we do have a very nice retirement support, so that we are able to commit ourselves to things that really matter. Anyway, so I got involved. There was some brouhaha with HME and with Galit, and so we separated. We formed our own organization. We are a 501c3 also. We are NECH-CIEH stands for Nurses, what are we? Nurses Educational Collaborative for Haiti, Coopérative des Infirmières en Éducation pour Haïti. That is us. NECH-CIEH is the short version.
Yes.
And so that and we have been extraordinarily fortunate in I'm getting a little panicky now because we have done a lot of nice, small fundraising, and we've also been doing an awful lot of stuff spending money. So
Sure.
I took a little look at the checkbook yesterday and stopped breathing for a minute or two, but then recovered. We have Claudia. We have just had. I see Jody may have disappeared again. We have just had an extraordinary week in Haiti, hosted by Claudia and by Jeskio. Wow, I wish Fran were on, but as I said, I think she's probably not going to be able to. So I guess I should talk. I always feel like I talk too much on these things. Are you shaking your head? Yes, I do. Claudia?
Oh, no.
Can you hear? Claudia, can you hear?
Oh, she's
I
muted.
can hear. Hold on. Yeah, I'll mute myself, but there's so much breaking when sometimes you talk and I miss something. That's why I'm saying it's better for you to talk because I cannot follow all the time.
Okay.
That's why I'm putting this next to me because I cannot follow.
Okay.
There's too much breaking.
Okay. Was Gerline right there? Should we introduce her? Can Gerline say hello? Well, she said that she was standing right there.
Yeah, she'll come back. Because there's a training starting this morning, so she has to. She's
Gerline
up and down.
is Claudia's assistant, and she does our video. Does everything that Claudia can't do in the administrative kind of stuff. So she's terrific. we have been very fortunate in, okay, good. We have been very fortunate in our having a connection, a collection of supporters who have allowed us to really do an extraordinary project. Here in Teaneck is a small foundation that called the Puffin Foundation, mostly funds the arts, but they have been known to fund various other things. I know the Rosensteins, Perry and Gladys, who are the Gladys is the executive director. Perry has had a couple of strokes, but his mind basically works very efficiently and effectively. I know them from local activities, and we have had a nice relationship, and they, for whatever, have supported some work that my husband and I have done. So when this was all beginning, I went and spoke to them, and I was telling them a little bit about Haiti. And Perry asked a very simple question. He said, "Do they have hand sanitizers down there?" And I said, "Well, I really haven't seen, occasionally somebody has a little bottle, but I really haven't seen any." So he said, "All right, you go find somebody who can get us hand sanitizers and I'll pay for them," which I have to remind him of as we go forward. So I telephoned a woman named Lori Veslavic, and I have now learned to pronounce her after spending a week with her. I now pronounce her name properly. It's Veslavic. She is the executive director of the DaVita Bridge of Life Foundation, which was launched by DaVita Dialysis. I had met her by phone two years ago when I started doing work with Haiti, and the CEO of DaVita was a student of mine back at Harvard, and I contacted him and said, "I don't think there's any dialysis in Haiti," and he put me in touch with Lori. I'm happy to say that it's also taken 2 years there, but at the new hospital, Mirabelet, at HUM, the Hôpital Université at Mirabelet, they now have it's not a unit yet, but it's an acute dialysis capability. And we were up there. We saw this week.
Yep.
We saw the machines. They are working. They have used them on 6 patients, saved 4 lives, which in Haiti we think is very, very good. I mean, they're very new. This stuff just got down there. It takes a long time to simply get things. And we do have some pictures of that. We've just got to get we have wonderful. Claudia Evans took fabulous pictures. I have literally hundreds. I just need Natalie to help me figure out how I organize them.
Barbara, did you meet Mark, the director of nursing at Mirabelet?
I know Mark, but I know Mark. Okay, she and I were the ones she and Naomi Marcelin are the people I know. Yeah. Mark was away. She was coming Wednesday, and we were up there on Tuesday, but she knew we were trying to go on Thursday, but that was really the start of the Easter weekend, and it was just not going to work out. So
I mean, one of my questions was how much you relate with PIH and Mirabelet, and I know Mark really wants to develop those nurses as very strong leaders, and I wonder, do they sign on to your courses too, to your classes?
Several of them have, and actually, Claudia and I met Mark at in Boston at a conference, the global conference that that's Sandy and Alice Werbel drove down to. That's right. So one of the wonderful things that we are doing, and I should say, because I think this is sort of we're sort of honing our mission, is that we are trying to build literally a collaborative of Haitian nurses to do many, many things, which and it seems to be working very nicely. So yes, I will talk about Mirabelet. At any rate, just let me. I'm taking time, but I need. So when I had been in touch with, Lori. I had met at Dartmouth. I had met Sheila Davis, who is the chief operating officer of PIH. Put Lori in touch with Sheila, and well, Sheila told me Catherine Kempton was the person to put her in touch with, in charge of international operations. And I didn't really know too much of what happened. Catherine was on sabbatical for 5 months. All I know is early, mid 2014, I heard that in fact, and Brian at Dartmouth was involved. Brian had called me and asked to be put in touch with Lori, which I did. I mean, the more we can connect,
exactly. Yeah.
is really what's very important. And Sandy and Deb, would you remind me after this? I want to ask you something to ask Brian. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's ask him or tell him to do. Um, at any rate, so we have the DaVita Dialysis, DaVita Foundation, the Puffin Foundation. And when I called Lori, because I had talked to her a year before about dialysis, and I said, you know anybody who I could talk to about getting hand sanitizers? She said, well, hang on just a minute, because one of our, not hang on, but wait, I'll get back to you. One of our DaVita supply chain people, Kevin Quigley, on his own, but now being more supported a little bit by DaVita, was doing a number of trying to do sort of charitable operations as he could. He works with a couple of hand sanitizer vendors. Suffice it to say, unbelievably, with Kevin got us a grant, not a grant, he got us a donation from Gojo, which is the Purell people, to send hand sanitizers, hand wipes, and hand soap dispensers and a year's worth of fill. Hi, Jody. A year's worth of fill for 3 hospitals as a pilot project. Won't take you through all the working this out, but at any rate, that was all arranged. And eventually this December, and we have Fran, who, fortunately somehow seems to know everybody in Haiti. Fran is at Mount Sinai Hospital here. She was born, lived in Haiti till 15, and is working here, but she goes back and forth a great deal. And she and her husband just know a lot of people. So she ran down and found us a warehouse where we could store this. And Lori Veslavic, God bless her, arranged without making any scene about it at all. PIH was taking the dialysis, was sending the dialysis equipment to their warehouse in Haiti. And then on there, they send 2 containers ship containers a month to Haiti. There, Gerline. Gerline. Hi, Jody. You know Jody? Yes. Deb.
Jody, Julie, Joanne, Cindy, Deborah.
This is our fabulous Gerline.
Hi, Barbara.
Bye.
Okay.
So, Joanne, I don't know who I'm talking about now. Lori arranged. I didn't ask questions because all I know is that we could not through Puffin. Perry thought he had run millions of warehouses once, but he's long retired. And all I know is Lori arranged for all 950 pounds of pallets of this stuff to go to the PIH warehouse with the dialysis equipment, go on the container ship, be passed through customs by PIH along with the dialysis equipment, and sent to PIH warehouse. And then they called us. I mean, that was all. We paid nothing for it.
Right.
Fabulous. It was wonderful. And then they contacted me and said, we really have to move things out to your warehouse. And Fran had made a very nice deal, which is $600 a month for which we pay for 3 months at a time for this warehouse. We should be able to be on our last payment of that. The materials were all moved on a weekend. I don't know, Claudia and Fran, I don't know how you did it. This is this amazing thing. And what I love is this is nurses who are doing far beyond clinical work, teaching, research. They got trucks and they got movers and they moved all this stuff, all this heavy stuff to our warehouse. And then on a subsequent weekend, since we were planning to have our kickoff, which ended up being this week, Claudia and Fran and Evans and Nestle and I don't know who else ended up moving the Jeskio part of all of this stuff to Jeskio, where Claudia has it stored. And we have installed, I don't know how, Claudia, I don't know how many you have installed. Wait, I'm turning on your mic, I'm unmuting you.
Let me count them.
Oh, no, you don't
maybe-
have to. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'll mute you again. It doesn't matter. At any rate, for this opening, we have there are soap dispensers installed where there are sinks, which there are not so many. There are hand wipes in places like pediatrics and nutrition where there are surfaces that need to be wiped, and there are sanitizers that are in many places, and you will see the pictures of them this week, and they will be installed in the new diarrhea treatment center, cholera treatment center, but Claudia really wisely wants it called the diarrhea treatment center. That's that gorgeous new building. There was a story about it in the New York Times. And in the 2 weeks between when I went there, they've got most of the sinks. They're getting things installed. Nothing's installed in terms of our dispensers because they didn't know the exact placement of sinks, of examining, of beds, of everything. So this is, but this week we ended up having Lori and Kevin came down, and this was sort of, I think for me, Claudia, an extraordinary week. Claudia and Fran were the hosts primarily this week. We all stayed at our wonderful Caribe Hotel, who treated us once again with such generosity and warmth. And we arrived on Monday. On Tuesday, we went to Mirabalais. And again, unfortunately, Mark was not there. We went to Mirabalais. Naomi Marcelin arranged the tour. A couple of the nurses who have been at our workshops, both our workshops, and who are coming to the next one. Ask me not to remember all the names. There's too many names, but they spent time with us. We have pictures with them. So that was wonderful. And you had asked the question, when we have lectures, we are now getting Anne Farah, a couple of Mirabalais people are coming on. Again, we need to do more organization, but at any rate, Mirabalais is involved. The most amazing thing, well, there were a lot of amazing things. Naomi gave us an extraordinary tour, but the most amazing thing was that we asked if we might meet with Dr. Cleofat. Dr. Cleofat is the chief of staff, but he also happens to be a nephrologist, which is what really made it possible to go ahead and do this dialysis, because he wanted it. And we were told initially that he was not likely to be there. If he was there, we could not meet with him. But when we got there, we asked if he were there and if he might meet with us. And he was there. And not only did he meet with us, but it turned out he and Lori, not sort of realizing it, have been on the phone several times arranging this. So it was like a big reunion for them. And Dr. Cleofat spent about an hour with us. And it was Lori saying, sitting there, you tell me what you need and we will get it to you. Which was, mind blowing for everybody. Naomi also took us on, a full tour. And one of the things that she showed us just off the children's ward, I'm keeping an eye on time because I know we may have to continue this later because it was such an extraordinary week. Off the children's ward, they have established a playroom, which does not really have a lot of toys in it. And they are willing to take donations of toys. This is not like Toys for Tots here. They don't have to be new and whatever. They will take anything. And so Lori said, well, I think we can arrange to do some things. Then she said, would you like internet, you know, when games, the whatever the screens stuff that kids do. She said no right now because the parents will take them and use them. They will not stay with the children. So just, you know, toys. So Lori again made a list. DaVita Foundation is going to attempt to get some toys down there for them. She and Kevin were making notes all over the place, she particularly, as to any kind of support that they can provide, because now she and Dr. Cleophas now can really work together. And they are talking about, you all may know more than I do, something called NECH-CIEH, which is a dialysis. Next stage is dialysis at home, I think. I mean, we're a long way from that. They have not set up a unit yet for chronic dialysis because there's so many problems in doing that. But now they've met, which is wonderful. So they will be on the way to working together. Wednesday was our big, exciting day when we went to Jeskio, and we're calling it our inauguration, our kickoff. And Claudia arranged for us to meet with Dr. Papp. And Dr. Papp met with us for a full hour. He gave us his undivided attention, his involvement. It was, I think we were, we were kind of wowed, but I have to say, I don't know, Claudia, I think he was pretty impressed with meeting Kevin and Lori and what they can do. He, of course, talked about the best thing would be, he's very excited about this because obviously infection control, infectious disease is his area. So he, anything that may lower the infection rate, even though we don't have any numbers to compare, would be wonderful. He said it'd be great if we could produce it down there. I don't know that that's something, because that means getting it. Though I talked to my husband, is always a very good source of information, who says there are chemical companies down there. And so we're going to just try and find out. Kevin, the big problem is if you have to bring raw materials in, it's very hard. It's all this getting it across and getting it through customs. But at any rate, he was genuinely involved. Claudia, anything else to say about Dr. Papp in our meeting with Dr. Papp? No, you're unmuted.
No, wait 1 second. Yes, I have to unmute myself all the time.
Yes.
It's always, since I talked with him about all this project, it always on. He said, yeah, we have all this support. So no, he's on, because I think that's, even remember what he was saying, that he could meet the dean of all the medicine faculty, so to tell them to already incorporate it in hygiene practice at the beginning of their session, because if the doctors know that they need to have soap or hand sanitizer, whatever, they would push the hospital to buy it so they can have it, so they can stop because there's no soap, most of them at the plants, where there's always like there's not enough soap, people have to bring their own soap from home or hand sanitizer. So it's already the med students, the future doctors know they need to have that to work. So that's why we have to go, like, start at the beginning, go to when they're in the university, incorporate a curriculum on this. That's why you want to meet the dean of all the 5 faculties to tell them, so they can push that. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll turn you off again I'll mute you. I think I mute. Yeah. We also had, Claudia gave us an incredible tour. So we saw where everything was posted. We got lots of pictures. The most important thing, it was an incredible day. It really was. Claudia, absolutely extraordinary. Again, to cut, because we're really running late. Now, Tamor, Kevin and Lori are blown away. And I've, heard since from them. And as Lori said, she said, I visited 29 countries, and I don't think any country's ever made the impact on me that Haiti has. And she said, it's going to take me a while to process all of this, but I will be back. Kevin will be back. We're going to be committed to Haiti. And she had a reaction that was similar to one my husband did 2 weeks ago when we had our family vacation down there, which is that this is, you know, yes, there are no the public services and things that you need, and it'd be nice if somebody was sort of had a full master plan for how things were going to be done in Port-au-Prince or whatever, but it is a town full of energetic people. My husband's done a lot of work in Mexico. He said, everything you see people lying around, people drinking, nothing. He said, everybody's moving. And Lori said this. She said, I've never seen it. People are walking. They've got baskets. They're selling. They're on motorcycles. Nobody is lying around. We didn't see school children because it was vacation because of you know, it was Holy Week. But she said, you get such, there's so much energy there that you feel that if we can somehow harness this, this is a place that's worth investing in. So that was exciting. Kevin was also blown away, and Claudia, what you and Fran and you have done at Jescio, Claudia, I'm praising you. Where'd you go? He was so impressed. He spent. There was a very bizarre discussion when he and the procurement officer just happened to meet and talk. They absolutely didn't know what each other was talking about, because he was talking about donations and, you know, providing things at very limited cost, and she's saying, we're an NGO, we have to take 3 bidders, and it was a very bizarre conversation, and we decided this was to be continued some other point because it was not getting anybody. But it was wonderful that he met her. I mean, because that may be important. But he did, with talking with Claudia, discover what he wants to do. Look into setting up it all. He wants to set up a distribution line. So, and essentially establish with Gojo Purell, and we don't know how, whether it's all going to be donations, but he's going to try and do that. But to start a distribution network, and he found out that AmeriCare distributes products to Jescio. So they have connections with AmeriCare. They use AmeriCare for various things. So he is going to be contacting AmeriCare to see if Gojo Purell can join their distribution system. This is to, and there are others as well. I know very little about this, so he someday will have to tell it. He's already talking about his next trip to Haiti. He sees himself going down, and Fran and I will be getting together this week, and then we've got to talk with Claudia. But what part of this, we still have 2 hospitals to set up for this pilot. I haven't even gotten to the research part, because we're also going to be doing research with these 2. They will be St. Mark Hospital in St. Mark, which is north of Port-au-Prince, and Hôpital de la Paix in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince. And obviously, we've got to establish our contacts. What we're going to try and do is help them find secure storage places at their facilities so we can get out of the warehouse business for now. Though we have this, as I said, fairly reasonably priced warehouse. And what we will be doing on those 2 sites, and hopefully getting Jody a little bit more involved, since she has nothing to do with her life, is that we plan to do a pre and post test where we are using World Health Organization surveys, observation sheets, and gathering data about hand washing and any kind of use of any hand cleanser or sanitizer before, then installing these, giving a brief training program on them, and then observing. And I think that we've never really talked about it. Well, you've sort of met, we've got to do an observation like 3 or 4 months later. We've got to do continued monitoring of this, because right now it's very exciting, and everybody at Jescio, they're using it. The question is, do they continue to use it 6 months down the line? And Claudia, we know we can count on to make sure that everything is refilled. That's Kevin's biggest concern, is will the refills. Every place we went, when we had dinner at La Reserve, we had a wonderful dinner. Madame Bois, the government people were there on Wednesday night. It was lovely. Kevin went to the men's room. Lori went to the ladies' room. There are soap dispensers empty at one of the fanciest hotels and restaurants. 2 weeks ago, we went to Moulins-sur-Mer, the beach, and right where you sign in, there's a rusted Gojo sanitizer. And I have to even say, on Thursday, we met with Hilda. We went down to Leogan. And Hilda said, we would like to have at least, and I think Kevin said she said, I'd like to at least have a hand sanitizer at the door. And Kevin said, right, they're not on our pilot list right now, but she said, I'd like one. He said, we can certainly make sure. And she said, I will make sure that this is filled. And I do have to say, we all use the bathrooms just inside the front door. Mm-hmm. Two empty soap dispensers and no toilet paper in one of them.
Right.
That was after I had said, I know Hilda will absolutely make sure of this. So, but this is the hardest thing. And it came from Claudia and Hilda who are making sure that these things So we are thinking about how we're going to have to establish, like in the bathrooms you see in McDonald's where there's a thing on the back of the door. And
I'm going to have to go in just a minute because I thought we were to be done at 9:30.
Yes.
Is that right or not?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is 9:30. I think I've given you the highlights. One other thing I do want to say about Mirabelais that we did learn that was a little distressing. This Perry Rosenstein had out of the blue ordered a sink, which he also sent down to Florida, which a stainless steel, Jody, because you hadn't seen the sink in the ICU. The sink is not being used yet. It's a big $5,000 sink, stainless steel, 3 wash stations, everything. And it's in storage to be used. The ICU has not yet been opened. No.
But the ICU is too small for a big sink like that.
Well, the big problem
is tiny.
I know, and I didn't see it because it's just a locked door right now. So they haven't done anything with the ICU. Which surprised me. I mean, I'm not worried about the sink. I was just, the ICU is not but I talked to Naomi about sinks, and she said, oh my God, we badly need sinks, but listen to this, Jody, listen to this. They have been told that in the plans, nobody planned for sinks any place, and therefore to install a sink they have to break down the walls and break down walls and break down floors. There is no without just saying we'd like a sink here sometime in the next 50 years. So she said, I said, this guy's eager to get you sinks at whatever size or whatever you want. But I don't think that he has the capability of, so this is really distressing. So she's going to look into it. These are all things, they're going to take time, but we will have that capability for Mirabelais if they can figure out how they can afford to do it. I was stunned. Anyway, we had the most amazing week, and what we have are incredible commitments from DaVita Foundation, DaVita Dialysis, and hopefully to get Purell on board. So first of all, everybody, thank you. This is an outcome it's wonderful. And and once we get all these pictures put together and show you and show funders, hopefully we'll be well on our way. Everybody put November 13th through 15th on your calendars, please. Love, we'll see you next week.
How do we continue planning, though? I guess that's my question for sessions, and that I had hoped to share some of the needs and see if that's a connection. So should we have another call or?
Absolutely. You know what? I'm thinking, yes, we certainly.
Do we have an education session next week?
You know what? Can you wait half a second? Is it education? What do we have a lecture next week? Wait, Claudia. Wait, Claudia, hang on a second. What? Who? Do we have? I can't read. Wait, you just turned it off. I turned you on. No.
Now she's off again.
Speak.
Merci. Mona Prismi, I think she's supposed to have a talk next week, April 16.
Let me.
On
Who is it?
Okay.
Is
On
Mona
what?
next week?
Mona Prismi next week.
Okay. Hang on a second. I think Mona's. Is she? 1 second. I just looked at this because I just sent it tomorrow. I will send this to everybody. The calendar.
Yes.
Hang on a
Okay, that's good.
second. Up. Oh, now I'm getting nervous. So, here we go.
That's okay.
Whoa. Let's see.
I think
The April 16th is Mona Prismi. Actually, we have 2 lectures because that's how it worked out for people's dates. So we have the 16th is Mona Prismi on her second discussion on community health, and the 23rd is Gerda on nutrition for diabetics. So we don't have another planning till April 30th, but I certainly have the time to get on. But it would be, I
Well,
don't know.
yeah, I mean, we don't have to, but I wanted to tell you about the oral health project in primary care that New York University has been doing, and they're very interested in connecting with Haiti. I don't know if you know Edwidge Thomas, who is Haitian American and has an NP, has been at New York University. In fact, for a while, managed their nurse managed center that got big attention on public press. But they have toolkits. I will send you their website and take a look at it, because they would be willing to do something via internet, at no cost, is my understanding. So it would be a fabulous connection, I think, for a session sometime in the next months, or 2 or 3.
We have time. Joanne, how about you and I emailing and setting up a time to talk, because I sort of keep that calendar. I'll send everybody the calendar as it is. I know
Right.
Elaine Thompson is going to be picking another thing to speak, and we can schedule it,
Okay.
and we can talk further. Everybody.
Great.
So I'll email you, Joanne, and we'll set a date.
Okay. Nice to meet you all.
Right.
Wonderful to
Nice
meet you
to
all.
meet you too.
Yeah.
yes,
Good work.
bye.
Yeah.
Joanne.
Barbara.
Bye bye.
Barbara, did you want
Thank
to
you.
talk about